Oh, that was a weird start. Hi, everyone. Ugh, I don't know why just started feeling. Y'all, okay. This is gonna be a random ish video, but I wanted to share my thoughts. So, I had made a video saying, like, I'm done watching Love Island, and then Nicolandria happened, and then I started watching again because this, I don't know, I feel like I have, I can't get my words out. Nicolandria, I feel like, was the only thing that made Love Island interesting this year, and it made me want to root for a couple to be successful so bad. There was just so many, like, parts of their story that pull you in, which I've talked about in so many other videos. But I've low-key been, like, hyper fixated on them as a couple. And I'm like, I literally need to stop focusing on these people's relationships. I'm not, like, a parasocial person where I believe, like, oh, like, I need to tell them how they're supposed to be a couple together. I just really want to see them be a successful together and individually, and wish them, like, all the best in their journey, whatever. And they get so much unnecessary hate, which I also talked about in another video. But something I realized is, like, I definitely feel like I live vicariously through other couples because obviously I'm not dating anyone. But honestly, I've given up on dating because I don't have the energy. I feel like seeing couples that are happy and thriving, I root for them. I don't have, like, I don't know. I don't have, like, I'm not jealous of seeing, like, happy, successful couples. I really just think I'm at a place where it's just, like, whether or not I have, it's just not something that's super important to me, that I'm super focused on. Like, being in a relationship or whatever. And it's like any time that I have tried to focus on that, it was not fulfilling to me in my life, because all it did was make me feel like, oh, if I don't have a relationship, I'm missing out on something, or I'm falling behind in life somehow. And you know what they say, comparison is the thief of joy. So in all honesty, it's like, I'm not against dating or anything. I just really don't care to put a lot of, like, how do I say this? It's just not my main priority. Like, being single doesn't really bother me. And I know some people think, like, if you've been single for such a long time, there's something wrong with you. Oh, I just remembered what I wanted to talk about. This is something that I think is so true. So I had watched this video earlier. This drop dead, gorgeous model looking woman was talking about how, like, hard it is to find, like, a partner. And the truth is, the prettier someone is, the actual harder it is for them to find someone to date. And people always think it's the opposite. They think that if you're super attractive, it's easy for you to date and you just have all these options. But the actual reality is that the prettier someone is, like, they're less likely to be approached because people are intimidated by their beauty or how attractive they are. And also, most people don't think that they would be interested in them, so they don't even try. And then the attention that they do get is usually not from people that they are mutually attracted to. So it's like you might get a lot of attention from people, but it's not the people that you're interested in. And I think like having high standards in a relationship is obviously going to limit the amount of people that you can date. The same way, I mean, that's the purpose of a standard. A standard exists to limit the number of options that you have. Like, if you don't meet this standard, you're not an option for me, basically. So having high standards will also make you single longer, being more attractive, being more intelligent. And I can't remember the other thing. Um, those are all like big reasons that I feel like if you're a more attractive person, you're very intelligent, and you have higher standards and good morals, it's really hard to date because, you know, there's just not a lot of people that are going to meet your standards. There's not a lot of people that are going to, it's just like it honestly seems like finding dating in this day and age just seems so impossible, and I don't understand why. And I think part of it too is like people are always looking for some like this perfect person. We have this idea of dating having to be like um this perfect person. And I think social media, in a sense, has highlighted this idea for people. Like, the perfect person out there for me exists, and like I can find someone better, or there's always going to be someone better. I don't know. I feel like that could be partially the reason. Because I don't know. I don't feel like settling in relationships is not good either. Me personally, it's just like there's no one I really like. The people I did was interested in the past, those never worked out. Um and also, what's so funny? I meant to make a video about this. Not even a video, just like a funny TikTok. Because I feel like anytime I was interested in someone, if I prayed, like, God, remove this person from my life, if they're not the person for me, that is always the prayer that God answers with a quickness. Like, not 1 to 2 business days. It would be like immediately. Like, that prayer is such a powerful prayer. God loves answering the remove this person from my life if they're not meant to be in it. That person will be removed with a quickness. So I feel like a lot of times, like, if I have found myself in a situation where I was maybe interested in someone, but then I prayed over it and was like, remove this person, they were always removed. So it's just like, okay, God, thank you for answering this prayer with the quickness. But also, it's like, I always find myself like second guessing. I don't know. It's just like nothing's ever worked out for me. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, being single doesn't really bother me. Yes, I turned 30 soon. I'm turning 30 soon. Did I plan on being single this long? No. But here we are. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I also just think, like, I still ultimately, as a Christian, trust God's timing over my life. I feel like there's still so many things that I want to work on in my personal life. I do want to grow my relationship with God for sure. And just, I feel like my career right now is a little more stable. I'm a teacher, special education teacher right now. So that's a more stable career path for me. And I do feel like that's something that I'm confident in and proud of. It is a lot of work, it is challenging, but I also feel like it's very rewarding. I love working with kids in general. And I have the heart for it, and the patience for it, and the drive for it. Like, I want to ultimately see my students succeed and learn, and be great leaders and everything in the future. So I do feel like, God, I'm in the right place. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I personally feel like with my current career. And then I'm moving soon, so I should be signing my lease tomorrow and then start actually moving, like small things throughout the week. And then this weekend, my dad is going to help me move like bigger things. So I have that all of these really good things, positive things happening in my life. I feel a lot more I feel a lot more in a stable position. Um and just excited. Now I do need to pay off a lot of debt. That's a big thing. And get my finances in order. So that's a big priority of mine as well. But overall, I feel like I'm in like a decent place in life, but there's still more areas I want to grow in. And yeah. Anyways, I just think for me, I feel like dating is hard for me to, one, because I don't like that many people, but also I don't feel like a lot of men have the best intentions towards me. And that's something that I can tell from the jump, because I'm very intelligent. I'm good at reading body language, and if I can sense there's not good intentions with someone, I'm not going to entertain that. But for me too, it's hard for me to find interest in a lot of people. um I'm honestly not 100% sure why. Like, I feel like I don't like that many people. Not in like the sense of like I don't like people, like romantically, I don't like that many people. And haven't really felt like, I don't really get crushes on people or things like that. I feel like I crush on people like celebrities. Like, I have celebrity crushes, or just celebrities that I feel like are very attractive, or I like their personalities. But like people that are like realistically realistic options for me, I don't have that a lot of that. But I don't know, that's just kind of how I've always been. But yeah, I just feel like seeing like so many beautiful women um struggle. And I also feel like too, like, that's why I've said before, like, you can't depend on your looks as being like the main thing that's gonna get you help you get like a partner in life. Like, if you're depending on, your outward appearance and focusing on just being like looking cute and or hot or whatever, like if you're just focused on physical attraction and your main focus is, you know, you just want your future spouse to be really attracted to you, I feel like that's such like a, I mean, physical attraction, I'm not going to say it's not important, because it is important to a lot of people. But if that's like your main focus in as far as finding a partner, I feel like it doesn't always create the most secure connections. I guess that's the best way to say it. Um So I don't know. I feel like so many women get this idea that if they just become really pretty and look good on the outside, like, sure, you'll get a lot of interest maybe and a lot of attention from men, but not all attention is good attention. And I realized that when I was a lot younger, like in college and stuff, when I used to like go out and care about that sort of thing. But I honestly feel like the attention I was getting was not good in attention, and it was attention that did not make me feel good about myself, which is why I say I don't really value I don't hold my physical appearance on a pedestal or as being like the most important aspect of me as a person. I feel like the way you treat people is a lot more important. Your character, um, things like that, like just like the things that matter. I don't want to be. I'm not like an overly superficial person. But it's hard to find very genuine people, in my opinion. And I don't know. I feel like dating apps are a lot of just more superficial type people. So anytime I've used a dating app, I've never felt like it was a good place to find like a decent partner. It just felt, it just is, it's always lacking. And I don't know, even if I was getting, it's just like attention from quality over quantity is what I personally care more about. Like, I don't need hundreds of men interested in me to feel like I'm a good person. Like, if I only had one quality person interested in me, that's enough for me. Quality is what matters, not quantity. And I saw this other clip of this like woman on, I think she went on some dating show. um it was like a speed dating or something like that, and she's talking about all her interests and hobbies, and like these men were like making fun of her, and it like breaks my heart. Like, no men stepped forward to wanting to date her, and it seemed like these boys cared more about like I don't know. It's like boy they were not men, they were boys, and they no one wanted to step up as being showing interest in her because they cared more about what their friends thought of her. Like, they they didn't want to step up to date her if other guys weren't doing it. It's almost like, oh, I don't want someone who no one else wants, right? And that's kind of like, it's like a herd mentality. It's like men who are just chasing after women who other men seek after, as validating that woman as being someone they should want. It's like they don't think for themselves. They only want what they see other men want, and it's more of like about boosting their own ego than like actually looking for good qualities in a person. And I feel like that's the type of a lot of men that exist right now. It's just men who care more about feeding their own egos, which is why I feel like it's led to like more a lot of women being more focused on just the superficialness of their appearance. And oh, if I have a lot of followers or a lot of people interested in me, that makes me look better to other men. Which is why I feel like it's common to see like men lust over the same woman over and over again. Like, men who always seem to share like the same taste in women or have the same interests. It's like refreshing to see men who actually think for themselves and aren't like, don't care about the opinions of other men as far as who they're interested in dating. Individual thinkers, I feel like, are hard to come by. There's a lot of herd mentality. Like, oh, I want this person because I know all these other people want her, and that makes her a prize in their eyes, right? Like, that type of thinking, I feel like, is very like surface level, and also it's kind of very like high school. It just shows like your interest in someone is based off of what other people think versus what you actually think. So I don't know. I feel like dating in this generation, it seems like it's harder to come by, and I feel like that's why it was really fun to see like Nick and Alandria's connection form on Love Island, because there was so many elements of it that was just very um it was like it made me feel something, right? It's like there's not a lot of couples that I have rooted for. Like the last couple that I felt this strongly about was Lauren and Cameron from Love Is Blind, and they have such like a genuine connection that you could see throughout the show. And I feel like that's the same feeling I get with Nick and Alandria. Like they have a story that is so unique for them. And I also feel like you saw two individuals who were at some point scared to show their interest in one another, but initially Nick stepped up and showed his interest in Alandria. Well, actually, technically, Alandria showed interest in Nick first. Then Nick showed interest in Alandria. Then they both got caught up in other couples. Then, by chance, they both get kicked out of Casa. They recouple up. Nick is really pursuing Alandria, letting her know how attracted he is to her, how interested he is in her. And you can see, like, Alandria is kind of caught off guard by it. She wasn't really thinking about it. And so there's just so many elements of how they came to be as a couple that really draw you in as a watcher, which is why, like I said, in the beginning I was like, I'm not watching the show, and then Nick and Alandria pulled me back in, and then I finished the season, and it was like they just had like a story that made you want to root for them. And there's so many people who hate on their relationship for, I think, a lot of reasons that really have nothing to do with their relationship actually, but their doubt and mistrust of intentions based off of their own biases of Nick and Alandria. That's like just me being honest. So anyways, I feel like that's why it's really refreshing to see like authentic, genuine couples and people who date each other not because they care what other people think. They're not trying to impress other people. They're just looking for a genuine connection. And I feel like those are the types of relationships that I like to root for. But yeah, that was all I really wanted to share. I think like dating for me is something that it's not like a major focus or concern for me. It's something that I'm just like, the right person will be in my life at the right time. And until that happens, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm not going to stress out about it. And whether it happens or not, I also know I'm still going to be good. Like, I feel like that's where my relationship with God really like fills in all of those holes that you sometimes feel when you are really focused on just wanting marriage and kids and all of these things, which it's not wrong to want them. I just feel like for me as a Christian, I had to let go. I didn't want to idolize those things. That's the truth. Idolizing marriage and kids will make you rush into decisions with the wrong people at times. um and I also feel like that's why it's important to know like your value as a person is not based off of whether or not you are married, whether or not you have kids. It's God given. He created you with a plan and a purpose, and He loves you and cares about you. You are not any less than or more than someone because of your marital status or because of having children. God creates every person with a purpose and intention and value, and He loves them equally. So it's like you're not more or less a woman because you are or are not married. You're not more or less a woman because you do or do not have kids. And I've seen some people have these takes where they think like, oh, you haven't made it until you're married, or you haven't made it until you have kids. And I don't agree with that type of message, because like I said, if I never have kids or I never get married, I still know that I am worthy, I am valuable, and I am still fearfully and wonderfully made. So it's like my self-worth as a person does not come from being married or having children. It literally comes from God. And that's the mindset that keeps me what's the word to say it? Like, keeps me grounded, but also keeps me like, I know my value. I know my worth. Like, whether or not I have someone in my life or not romantically, it doesn't change what God has given me or how valuable I am as a person. And I feel like that's what keeps me grounded, what keeps me going, and why not dating for most of my life doesn't bother me. And yeah, I hope that helps somebody who's maybe been in the same similar position. I feel like I'm also a very late bloomer. Like, I never dated in high school. I really didn't date in college. Honestly, 2 of the 3 dates I've been on were in college, but that's another story for another day. Um, but I really don't care about dating. I really don't care to date. I don't like going on dates. I don't know. I find them to be very awkward. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys.